Hello, everyone. Happy weekend. I hope you're enjoying yourself, finding some time for self-care, enjoying your family over this weekend, leading up to the reason we're here in the first place, which is to offer America another powerful, less divisive, more solutions-based option for the 2020 presidential election. I am Jade Simmons, and I'm your one and only truly serious, determined, relentless, independent candidate for president of the United States. Let me always start with just some gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you to those who have been supporting us from day one. Thank you for our new supporters who are just now finding us in the last few weeks, doing your due diligence and deciding that you're going to vote vision over fear. Thank you for those who've stood up to the bullying, the harassment, at your courage to dare to vote uniquely. Come to think of it, you're just voting your own vision, your own heart, your own conscience, and we just really applaud you for taking that step. What we have tried to do is set a few themes in place. One has been, of course, that we try to keep it real, as we do. We have kept it real for this entire 10 months. We've been running since January. It's Operation Restoration. That's the movement powering this run. And we've worked to really make sure that we have not sounded like any other politician, because we're not politicians. We are servant leaders vying for the chance to lead a nation in desperate need of leadership and service. And our goal is to offer access to greater opportunity, really, for more Americans than ever before. So if you want to learn more, even in these last few days, because there's plenty of time to do your due diligence, you're going to go to operationrestoration2020.com. You can also get there by going to jadesimmons2020.com and do yourself a favor, click on top 20 visionary platforms, and that's going to give you a rundown of many of the most popular issues, but also the issues that we pride ourselves on covering that nobody else is speaking on. Do your due diligence, take your time, see if the vision resonates. If it does, you'd be doing yourself a disservice to vote against your own interest and your own beliefs and vision. I'm here tonight because if you've been keeping up with our states map, again, if you go to the website, if you check us out on Facebook, I think on Instagram as well, you'll see our states map. That tells you all the places that we are available to you to vote for. And what's been exciting is we kept our first campaign promise. We promised we would stay standing long enough for Americans to find us and to have their vision resonate with us so that they could vote for us. We have done that. We promised that we would make ourselves available to the majority of Americans, that we would be in line for that 270 electoral votes that independents do get to go after. We get to participate in the Electoral College. Boom, we have done it all. What we do have on that map, though, are states that we are challenging. Certain states we're not going to be available to you in. We've been clear about that with the map. Other states, we let you know when we're in the process of filing paperwork, when we're done filing and you can write us in, or if you're going to see our name on the ballot, we tell you all of that. We also have states that have been, I think we've graded them out. They are states that we were challenging. That means that we felt we were undergoing candidate suppression, which we believe is also voter suppression. We felt either the restrictions with COVID-19 prevented us from going after the signatures we needed. Last week, we released some of those states. That means we're not going to be available to you in those states. And I told you I'd come back this weekend, by Monday at the latest, to let you know our status in Texas and Indiana. I'm disappointed to announce that nothing has changed. They have not budged. We don't foresee them budging. What does that mean for you? That means even though we know we have legal grounds in Indiana to continue to pursue this, and we very well might pursue this even beyond the election, we want to be transparent so that you know how to vote on Tuesday. Here's what happens. If they don't change their status, which right now they are denying me access to the slate of write-in candidates, which means that if you were to write me in now, there is no guarantee that that vote would count for me now and wouldn't count towards the general election outcome. Some voters have been saying, we don't care. That's how we want to vote. We're going in there to vote our heart and our conscience. That's great. That would be called a protest vote or a symbolic vote. But if they do not reverse their decision, your vote would not count in the upcoming election. What does that mean for you? Here's what we recommend. We recommend you do some soul searching. See if there's a second choice that you can live with it, vote for that person accordingly. That would have been difficult for me, which is why here in Texas, which is still denying my candidacy, my husband and I went and we voted for me because I am the candidate that we believe in. We do not believe in Biden or in President Trump. And so we voted according to our heart and our conscience, knowing that the presidential vote would not count. What we also did, though, is we didn't just vote for the president. Wherever you are, presidential candidate, you're telling you, the president is not going to change your life overnight. The president should be the person casting the vision for the nation. They should set up an atmosphere and a climate for progress to happen. They should be the lead executor of the laws, the commander in chief, the head of state. They should communicate powerfully, effectively in a way that unifies. But the real change on the ground in your local community is going to come from who you are putting in office at the local and state level. So we also voted in Texas for our local officials, local officials, our state officials, for Senate. We also voted for our judges here. So some people are choosing to vote symbolically for the presidency. They're still voting for me, even if the vote won't count towards the presidential outcome. And then they are voting powerfully for their local and state. You can do that, but it's my job to let you know how your vote will be counted. And it's important that you don't feel like you wasted a vote. We feel the only wasted vote is for something you don't believe in. So that's why people are still saying, we don't care. We're writing you in anyway, and then we're voting accordingly on the other positions. Many of these are people who weren't going to vote anyway. They weren't even going to go to the polls. So we're so proud that we've got new voters to go to the poll. We've got jaded voters to come back into the system. And we've got young 18-year-olds voting for the first time, casting their vote for us. The same goes for Texas and Indiana. Right now, they are not budging. Indiana is where we have the best legal case. But you wouldn't imagine the things we see behind the scenes. Even lawyers are afraid to associate in a way that would misalign them with the Democratic Party or the Republican Party. In states that are run by Democrats, they have a concern that I am going to take voters from them, which, by the way, there's no such thing. You can only earn votes or keep the votes that you hopefully have earned before. So in some of the states that are Democratic-led, there's a concern there that I pose a threat. In some of the states, like Indiana as well, that are Republican-led, there is a concern that I pose a threat, especially to voters who consider themselves Christians, followers of Christ, believers, people of faith, or conservatives who have more of a humanitarian lean. So there are political motivations behind the scenes that are, man, we've seen some stuff we can't unsee. I also want to be very honest with you about a new development that has been very unexpected, very shocking, and very disappointing. It's in the state of California. You might have saw a couple days ago, we so proudly changed California to dark purple, which meant that you could run out to the polls and write us in. We were very excited about that, only to find out a few days later that they were declaring that some of our electors, 3 of our electors, were not registered voters. Well, normally we would have come to you right away, let you know there was a problem so that you could vote accordingly. But we didn't worry about it because we knew all of our electors were registered voters. Some of you, even I'm looking at here, have worked with us, and you did the hard job of verifying all of our electors. So we said, oh, that's a mistake on their end. We took screenshots of our electors' voter registration, turned those in, thought that'd be the end of the problem. No harm, no foul. Mistake on their part. We were going to keep it moving. So when we found out 2 days later that even though we proved our electors were indeed registered, California, by the way, requires 55 electors. And we did the hard work of not only getting 55, but getting alternates as well, 2 alternates for the state of California. So when we turned that in and said, nope, you got it wrong, they're registered voters, carry on, make sure we're on that write-in list, they came back then with a new complaint about addresses not matching up or not being right in the system. We found out these people are registered voters. They did move to a new address. So we were really confused as to how suddenly there was this new qualification. When we challenged that qualification, they gave us another complaint about signatures. When I tell you that the struggle behind the scenes for the independent candidate is real, believe me, it's real. What's most maddening is not what's happening to me as a candidate. What upsets me is that we have voters in California who were determined to go and be able to write me in. And they're going to be in the same predicament as people in Texas and Indiana. We cannot guarantee, although I'm hopeful for California because I feel like we've laid out a very good case. We're very hopeful, but we wanted to come to you before Monday so that you can make a plan for how you wanted to vote. Thank you for those who have been patient and have waited, have withheld their vote until you had more information. So in California, it's going to be the same. If you were to vote for us right now, let's say you can still do early voting on Saturday in California, we can't guarantee you that that vote will count. If you have already voted for me in California, and this is our argument that they are now disenfranchising our voters who in good faith went to vote for us, our electors who in good faith filled out everything as requested on their forms, that those people are now being disenfranchised. We hope the governor, the secretary of state, the head of elections, who will all remain nameless for right now, we hope that they will do the right thing and include us on that write-in list. But because we can't guarantee the outcome, we have to be transparent with you and let you know that my candidacy now in California is jeopardized. You better believe we wanted to be in line for 55 electoral votes. That being said, here's what's up. Same thing as with Texas and Indiana. If you vote for us today, we can't guarantee that your presidential vote will count, but we encourage you to go to the polls and do one of two things. Either you can vote symbolically as a protest vote because that's just the only option you believe in. We are so grateful and humbled by that level of faith and belief. You could do some soul searching this weekend and see if there's a second choice that you could live with, that you wouldn't feel dirty about after you voted for them. Either way, we encourage you to go to the polls and vote in your local and state elections. Now, here's the good news. Here's the good news. There's no way we could run a campaign with this much hard work and this much integrity and be counted out. That's why even without the biggest states in the nation, the largest electoral opportunities in the nation, we are still in line for over 300 plus electoral votes. We are still in the game. And it's so exciting to see people from Montana and Utah and New York and Georgia and Florida telling us that they've been writing us in, or in Oklahoma and Louisiana telling us that they've been bubbling us in. They've been seeing our name on the ballot. We're so grateful for how you've helped us spread the word. Any victory that we have is because of the people on the ground, meaning you. We didn't have a big ground team. So we are so thankful for all the everyday Americans who did something very simple, which was to spread the word, because that word has spread wide and far. And we believe a lot of our voters are stealth voters. They're quiet. They're not shouting on social media about who they're voting for. They're doing their homework. They're thinking things through, and they're choosing to vote vision over fear. And we're just blessed. Every ballot picture that you guys are sending us, you might have seen the person in Southern California who blew up this huge replica of a ballot and put it in her front yard and wrote us in on it. That was just, I'll tell you what, those are the reasons that we're able to sleep easy at night. But in order to really sleep easy, we wanted to come to you, let you know what was up in California. Hopefully the team has updated the state map. We'll probably turn California back to light purple or put it in challenge gray so that you understand that it's not officially viable yet. We appreciate those of you who have voted in advance, and we apologize for what's happening right now. And we hope to be able to reverse this decision so that your vote counts. We appreciate those of you who are voting for us anyway, symbolically or as a protest vote. But we encourage you, no matter what, to make it to the polls, really have your voice heard, and make sure that your local and statewide outcomes are affected by you leaning in. So we really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Mark. You're right. Our backing is so hardcore. It's so infinite. It's so divine. And we just are so proud. We're already rejoicing. We're already celebrating. The way that we speak about it at Operation Restoration is that we've already won. The moment you say yes to that hard, difficult thing, the impossible, and you lean in to fill a void that is overdue for being filled, you have won. That obedience, we believe, has blessed so many people, including ourselves. We are so blessed by your response, by your enthusiasm, by your passion. Some of you are first-time voters, just got your your citizenship and you are using your first vote to vote for us powerfully. We will never, ever forget that. Our lives will never be the same. And we are still holding out for a miraculous disruption. We're excited to watch people we have not connected with, engage with up until now, who are telling us that they're voting for us. And so we know that that really is representative of a lot of stuff that's happening beneath the surface and behind the scenes. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, Queen China, good to see you. Thank you so much for your advocacy, lady. I see you on social media. So many of you have just been outstanding in your support. And we used to apologize for the backlash that you were getting, but now we ask you to just stick your chest out in pride and, let your backbone really be strong, because what you've done is a good thing. What we're standing up against is a hypocrisy that runs deep, a two-party system that no longer serves us. Instead, it pits us against each other. We're watching leadership that is immature on both sides. We're watching leadership that is out of season on both sides. We're watching voices that are irrelevant and not speaking into these times dare to say they're speaking for us. So when you have stood with us, we believe that what you're standing for is not just a campaign. It's not just one candidate, one person, one personality, but that you're standing with what we believe is a new era, a paradigm shift. So in spite of the shenanigans in California, in spite of the outright corruption and deception in Indiana, in spite of the discrepancies in Texas, we applaud you for standing with us, and we don't allow any of that to tarnish the journey. When we do that, that's when these other forces have won. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Keep checking back, Operation Restoration 2020. I will probably come live again on Monday. That's the next time I'll speak to the officials in California. Be praying with us over the weekend that they will do the right thing. We think that a lot of these agencies have forgotten their original purpose. An office of candidates and elections should be aiding candidates and helping elections run smoothly, not setting up blockades for candidates and creating voter suppression by way of eliminating candidates that voters really believe in. I think as a nation, we've forgotten our purpose, and our purpose really is to serve and to lead powerfully. So be praying over the weekend for divine reversal. We're believing for some miraculous things to break out. And as always, we will keep it real with you. Again, for those of you who have already voted in California, we apologize if we've created any inconvenience or if anything seems like it wasn't being done above board. We honestly felt like we would have had resolution in 24 hours and didn't think we needed to come to you, because we were able to prove that our electors were registered. But we watched them continually move the goalpost every time we would meet the standard that they set. So these are the things that are happening behind the scenes. We believe a large part of our existence has been to shed light on these dark things that have been happening in dark corners and in the way that our votes and our democracy has been manipulated on behalf of those already in power. So before I get up on another soapbox, let me just say good night and go hang out with my kiddos for the night. Be in peace, be blessed, and we'll see you back here on Monday. I'll come live again to give you final update on California. And then on Tuesday, I'll come live at some point just to encourage you through that day to stay in hope, to stay in vision, to stay in passion, and to stay in belief. All right, you guys have a great night.